All right, this is part 5. Oops, you caught me in the act. Um, Here we go. Welcome to my channel. This is part 5, where I'm actually drawing this character with a zero point 0.1 Copic multiliner. I'm inking it. This is original pencils were done by a friend of mine, and it is a character that is a science fiction slash fantasy character along the lines of The Witcher. Not that it is that character, but just letting you know that take a look. That's the look of it. I'm wearing my trusty inking glove, and here I was caught in the act of actually starting the inks. I didn't do a prep for the video. This is technically part 5 now, I think, of my starting the entire tutorial. And as you can tell, I'm doing the chainmail. Now, originally, this chainmail I did in pencil, and I had to come in and slowly but surely, without erasing the whole thing, erase some of the graphite lines. This originally was done, as you can tell, in a blue pencil. He scanned it, made a copy of it, and handed it to me to finalize the pencils and do any tweakings to it as far as uh, fixing this or that or the other thing, and then now I'm doing and then ink it, of course. Now what I'm doing here is doing the tiny. Let me show you something. Hold on, folks. Let's do a close-up view. There we go. That might be better for you. All right, now, in case someone might be thinking, hey, I can't see what you're doing because your hand's over it and the camera's too far away. All right, we got that covered. I know that's happened to me when I've watched some tutorials of other artists. Um, and I don't have the greatest setup yet, folks. This is a brand new channel. I'm just starting out. Uh, and just today, I made up my mind that I'm going to toss everything into this channel because I'll be doing artwork, other people's final drawing over other people's final drawings, like this one, or finalizing their drawings, I should say. They might do a layout, and I'll finish the drawing, and then I'll come in and ink it. Or maybe I'll do a drawing of my own. I'll finish that drawing in pencil, and then come in and ink it myself. Also, I'll be showcasing some unboxings of other artists' work through blank comic book. What are they called? Blank sketch covers. I've gotten into those, and I really love them. Actually, just there's some artists out there that kill on that. I don't think I'd be very good at them. I might try my hand at it, only for the reason that I can't seem to draw. I mean, it's weird. I can draw small. I don't usually do. I'm one of these artists that likes to draw big. I always have. Um, it's like a thing with us artists. Like, you're either into it or you're not. And it's hard for me to get all my ideas that I see that I would normally put on a sketchboard. This is a Strathmore 11 across, 11 inches across, 17 inches up high in height. So it's a standard, you would say, Marvel, DC mainstream comic book art drawing board. Normally it'd have their company logo on it, but this is a Strathmore, which works beautiful for this. Strathmore is a great product. Would recommend it. No, the video is not sponsored by them, nor Copic either. Uh, but I have to definitely mention the good products that are out there that I like. Again, that I use. As you can tell with the chainmail, I try to bend the chainmail to its function. Um, and since his arm is being raised to the back to raise the broadsword out of the scabbard, then the chainmail would be sort of leaning upwards, if you will. All right, and this is going to be done the same way. This is a huge pattern here that I had to erase a little bit. Let's see if we're still good on camera view. All right. Yep, I think so, from what I can see on my end. All right, here we go. All right, let me see if we're good on time. Hold on, folks. Uh, yeah, we're 4 minutes in, 4 minutes, 47, 48 seconds. All right, now this, I'm going to be a little bit more, not as fast, because I want to create a pattern So I want to create a pattern that flows upwards and to the right and in this direction at the same time. You'll see what I mean. I know this might seem like to some people, this might seem like I don't know, a needless worry or a needless detail, but that's what goes in with art. It's like a lot of it is very detailed. That's just the way it is. If you want to make it good, and, you know, presentable for the viewer, whoever they might be. Chainmail can be pointed, it can be round. Usually, chainmail, to my knowledge, anyways, is stacked up on top of each other, which a lot of folks, I'm surprised so many folks don't know that, or people that draw. And again, I'm not putting anyone down. I'm just talking in general here, trying to keep ourselves here in the moment and enjoying this. I drawing it, inking it, and you watching this, the viewer. Uh, as I hope that you gain something positive from viewing my videos, anyways. And, not just the tutorials, but commentaries about art and materials that I use, as well as the unboxes that I'm going to bring over here from my other channel. As that channel, I think I'm going to have to collapse two channels into one. It seems more a smart thing to do. Sorry about the background noise. I'm at an outdoor cafe, or should say a cafe. I'm inside the cafe, but just letting you all know that in case you hear background noise that I cannot control. Although I've put the my speak microphone on noise silencing other than my voice, but it only works so well. It can only do so much. All right, so we're headed up this way, and then we're gonna do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Somewhere along the way, when I draw chainmail, which is not very often, but I've done it enough times, I realize that if I turn the angle of, let me see if I can angle my hand here a little bit and show you. If I turn the angle at which I'm drawing the chainmail pieces, the tiny pieces, you'll see how it starts to move up into the air, north, and then backwards as the rise of his arm is down here, and his forearm, I should say his upper arm, is rising above and behind him to reach for his broadsword of this what this character is doing. I'm very, very, very much always interested and fascinated by looking at other artists' work, trying to deduce, figure out, understand not just what they did, because it's easy to look at a drawing or a photograph, if you will, and just see it for what it is. Like you could see a drawing of Superman or Sherlock Holmes or Scooby Doo, and it looks good. It could just look really good, and most people are comfortable with just that. I, of course, have to be, that weird uh, content creator that is on here now that doesn't just see it that way. For me, I like to find out, where's the storytelling? Is it telling a story? Why is it not telling a story? And more importantly, I like to find out, what is it about it that works, what doesn't work, why doesn't it work? I usually do that with my art. I try not to be so uh, demanding, if you will, or uh, of other people's art. I mean, I can't help but to scrutinize it in that way. Uh, but whenever I see an artist's work that I like, usually the ones that I like are the ones that are able to tell the story. I just believe that even in a single drawing, let me show you this. Even in this single drawing, I'm going to blow that a little bit, make sure there's no pieces of residue from the eraser. There is a story that is being told that you can tell. Like that's what I liked about this drawing to begin with. It wasn't just sort of like the dramatic tilt of the heads, or that he's got the strong forearm of this magician, magical warrior holding these disembodied heads. No, no, no. It was the fact that he's in the middle of an action. That's really the simplest way I can put it. He's actually finishing an action. He just cut somebody's head off, or did something with the sword and he's sliding it back into a scabbard, or he's about to pull it out because he's facing I would imagine an enemy or some character that is threatening him and impeding his passage, perhaps in some dark wood somewhere. Since this is a fantasy character, I'll do more over here in a second, but I wanted to show you how I do. And again, every single semi full circle of the chainmail does not have to be perfect. I That's one thing you won't hear me say when I draw. When I pencil and when I ink either other people's works, but especially, again, I stipulate, especially when I do the pencils, when I create something, I am not looking for perfection from myself. I'm looking for things that matter to me, that I think the human eye will pick up on automatically, irrespective of what country you're in, what language you speak, or whether you draw or not, which is, what is this character doing? What is happening? Where does this take place? What is going on? Is this art drawing as a whole telling me a story? It doesn't have to be a long story. It doesn't have to be more than 2 minutes or 15 minutes. And sometimes I also try to remind myself to, so you can see it's angling up. It was angling up and curved to the right. Hopefully you can see that. Now we're going to do this one. And actually, unlike before where it was off camera, you're going to see me actually do the light erasures that I'm doing. So I hold on to the board with my left hand. And here we go. Also, when you erase, at least how I do it in circles, not semicircles, not half, not an S, not an X, circles. Always erase in circles, especially when it comes to minute detail work that you have to go over with a brush or an ink quill or an ink pen. Why? I'm about to show you why. Watch this. Relatively speaking, okay, hold on. I was talking and not paying attention. Every area of this part of the drawing is erased equally. See? No area would be lighter, darker, darker, lighter. So that makes it a lot easier to ink. This is a little too dark, the penciling here. So we're going to keep doing small little circles. And it leaves enough of a ghost image that I know where everything goes, where it needs to go anyways. I could do this in my sleep anyway, so I'm not worried about it. But all right, so here we go. Let me see. Let me check the time first. All right, so we're still there. And I'm going to have to angle this up a little bit so you see that. All right, here we go. Let's see how quickly I can do this with the same. This pen point is not busted, so that's good. It's not wasted yet. And I always worry about that. I go through a lot of pens, as I'm sure you can imagine. Okay, so here we go. I want to create the border. Okay, so this is going to be, actually, let me do this now. So this is going to be thin to thin to thick to thin, thin to thick to thin. I want that cursive line no matter what. I love a cursive line. Uh, Gary Martin, wherever you're at, thank you for teaching me this. And of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention some of the other inkers that I admire. Joseph Rubinstein, who was a master of the brushwork, who worked in the 1960s and 70s at Marvel Comics and up until even the early 2000s, but well known for inking, doing some of the best ink work, along with Mike Royer, another famous inker, on Jack Kirby. Who else are we talking about here? Carl Kessel's fantastic. His 80s and 90s work is fantastic. Terry Austin, who I've already mentioned. Kevin Nolan, who also pencils, but just is fantastic at with his quill and brush work. Um, who am I missing? There's so many people. There is a gentleman named Mick Gray, who I had the opportunity to meet. Mick worked with J.H. Williams for years over at DC Comics. They did Chase, the comic book, back in the 1990s, and a bunch of other stuff that I couldn't possibly remember unless I looked it up. But he worked with, he did the recently, he'd worked with Mark McKenna, I think, on the Justice League Dark for DC. I think it was the New 52. Oh my goodness, it's just Mick, if you ever get a chance to hear this video, thank you. Thank you for teaching me, whether you knew it or not, by the work that of yours that was published, which I just not only read and looked at, but I consumed it and learned from. Again, I found out while I was at the San Francisco Fan Expo this last weekend. I met Mr. Gray. It was fantastic. It was a dream come true to meet uh, one of my inking heroes. They say never meet your heroes because you might be disappointed. I disagree with that. Maybe that's, I also had a chance to meet Frank Miller. Boy, that was a fun moment. We didn't get a chance to speak at length, but we were signing one of my Daredevil comics. That's sent off to CGC to get it encapsulated, graded, and sent back to me. It's just going to be fun to have that in my PC. And for those that are not into the comic book biz, that PC usually for us is uh, just means a personal collection. We like to also have, like so many other industries and businesses, our own abbreviations, I guess. Okay, so here we go. Also, I used to do a uniform pattern when it came to my chainmail, and I know that that looks cleaner and prettier. It would be like all lines this way, all lines that are tilted at a 35-degree or 40-degree angle. And then I would do lines straight up going from, bottom to top or south to north, slightly tilted at like, 10 or 15 degrees. And I usually, whenever I'm inking, I measure things in my head. Sometimes I use a ruler, but I've gotten to the point where I can see the tilt or the bending of what I'm doing, the curve, the bend of what I'm doing, the the alignment of what I'm doing. That's the correct phrase in my head. So if I can visualize it in my head, if I can visualize it, thank goodness for high school geometry classes, basic algebra, and all that because I loved geometry. I did a little trigonometry as well, but I'm no great mathematician or anything. Although I do like math a lot, but and science. If I haven't mentioned that before, that's one of my other sort of hobbies, just to read up on that science, physics. I guess that makes me a big old bookworm, but that's okay. This is the year and the time of us bookworms and geeks all around. All right, folks. So hopefully that's coming across. Let me check the camera. Yep, it's coming across. Sorry for the tilt. I'm trying to keep it straight. Try not to press on the table too harshly and keep my hand down at all times, as I'm sure some of the great teachers of art, like Mr. Gray or Joseph Rubenstein, would tell me to do. Um, Gosh, there's also other inkers that I admire. Let's see if I can run a roster of them that have worked. Obviously, many of them in comics. Some have done book illustrations. Wade Von Grawbadger, fantastic inker. Worked a lot in the 1980s, not, I'm sorry, 1990s with uh, inking a lot of Tony Harris's work on Starman for DC Comics. One of the greatest runs written by, of course, James Robinson, a fantastic writer. So he was great. Let's see. Also, let's talk about the ladies. There is a great lady named Sandra Hope, who's worked with. She started off, I think, with the Jim Lee Studios back when it was. Uh, gosh, I forgot what it was called. It's been a while, folks. But yeah, back when they were at Image, and then before he sold the studio to DC Comics. I think Sandra's career goes back that far. Miss Hope is fantastic. Like I could just watch her in awe and in wonder, inking her whatever she would be inking at the time. All right, who am I missing? Who am I giving a shout out to here? Not that they need it. Many of them are well known in the industry and outside of it. I'm sure they have other predilections and hobbies that, excuse me, getting a little dry here. I gotta have a little sip of water. Bear with me if you hear that. Okay, I've got someone next to me. If you hear the voice, that's just a neighbor sitting down there. So here we are. We're doing this drawing, inking this drawing, I should say, and we're doing the. Uh, and by the way, I'm also aware of the fact that I don't mind using manga style. Uh, oops. And then sometimes you'll make a mistake with it, but you know what? These are happy little mistakes because I can work around them. As far as something like metal filigree or metal chainmail. So hopefully, uh, this is bringing you some joy, and you're learning something. If you're here for the learning aspect of it, if you're thinking about starting to draw more, to do it as a therapy, as something that will bring you joy, please do so. I know that art has saved my bacon in more ways than one over the years. That's a story too long to tell in this video, but let me check the time first. Okay, we're almost done. Okay, we're gonna call it even here because I'm done with the filigree, the chainmail. All right, hopefully that looks even. I think it does. It has. In this particular side, I didn't have to necessarily tilt it in any particular way. Here, let me show you. I made a mistake. Well, I've got to stop saying that. There's an open space here that could definitely use. There we go. A little bit of chainmail. All right. So we're gonna call it even there. There's some more chainmail here at the bottom part of his tunic. We'll take care of that on the next video. All right. If you've been with me so far, I appreciate it. Let's back up out of this. There we go. Back onto the table view. So we're 21 minutes in. I thank you for your time. Really profusely do that because whoever made the time to watch this could have done anything else and been anywhere else. And you certainly could have spent your time on YouTube watching any other video, but you chose this one and you chose mine. For that, I thank you. If you can on the way out, I'd appreciate it if you give me a thumbs up if you like the video and leave a message, a comment, ideas for future tutorials or future unboxings. I'm going to try to blend all those into this channel. And I also, I can't stop saying thank you enough because um, I think that this is a great community to begin with. And hopefully, again, if I have brought you any joy to your day, to your break time at work, whatever it may be, however this video found you, thank you very kindly. Anyways, I know I'm taking a little too long with these outros, but I'm new at this. Please bear with me. Hit the thumbs up, give it a like. By all means, share the video with someone you think might enjoy this. And I hope to do more tutorials. I will cover my own drawings. I will do inking. I will ink other artists' drawings, pencil drawings. I think you'll see that from beginning to end. If you have ideas, leave them in the comment section for things that can be added to the channel as I go along. Again, appreciate your time. Thank you kindly. Subscribe if it's so you have the moment to give it a thumbs up. And I'll see you all on the next one. All right, so take good care. Bright moments.